Welcome to Pro Gun live stream. Today is Saturday, September 20th, 2025. As usual, we'll give it a minute or two for others to join and we'll get started. All right, people are starting to join now, so just give it another minute or so. And we're back at our normal time slot today, which is 12 o'clock Eastern till 1 o'clock. And again, it doesn't show me who's on the stream, just the number of people. So if you want to give a shout out so we can acknowledge you. Also, I try to watch the comments and they scroll through really quickly. So be a little patient if I don't get to you. It's because I missed it scrolling through my screen, but I will get to all of them eventually. And Ron, 2A Matters, welcome to the stream, brother. So after this Charlie Kirk shooting, my wife and I were having a discussion last week because people are getting fired from their jobs. And personally, I think they should. But, we have our Second Amendment rights, and then, there's First Amendment rights. And I'm wondering how you guys feel about people getting fired for their comments. Now, I'm all for freedom of speech, but I think there's a gray area where, when you're cheering and advocating for the death and harm of another individual, I think you've crossed the line on the First Amendment. It's made me realize how sick these individuals are. I mean, anyone that advocates killing someone is obviously sick, right? There's elected officials, sheriffs, CIA employees, school teachers, college professors. It's just mind-boggling how many of these people are celebrating this. And these are just sick, scary individuals. And this is why we need to be armed. And the Second Amendment wasn't just written so that we can keep and bear arms. The Second Amendment was written so that the government can't take them away. And hello to you too, Martha. Thank you for joining. But anyway, I digress. But I am happy that people are getting fired for this. And JD Maines, hello to you too. Thanks for joining our stream. But I'm just curious how you people feel uh, about people getting fired over this. I think they should, because, like I said, I don't think celebrating people dying uh, is freedom of speech. That's just sick. We had a lawsuit recently. Now, we live in the great state of Tennessee, and we are a very gun friendly state. But, and hello to you too, Michael. Thanks for joining. We had a couple laws on the books that are 100 years old, and one of them is the intent to go armed. So, even though we don't need a permit to carry a firearm in Tennessee, if they wanted to charge you, they could charge you with the intent to go armed. And there was also another law in the books where you couldn't carry in a park. Now, the court ruled that the intent to go armed was unconstitutional and they could no longer enforce it. Now, Governor Lee, who turns out to be a rhino, filed an appeal, and the attorney governor is asking the courts if they could enforce the law while they appeal it. Unfortunately, we got another win, and the courts ruled no, you can't enforce an unconstitutional rule while this is dragging through the higher courts. So that's another major win. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. And Chris Selly, welcome. I'm reading your comment here. And that's a fair point, Chris. I'm just curious where people stood on that. You know, we like our Second Amendment rights, and I understand freedom of speech, and people should say whatever they want to be able to say. But I think when it gets to the point where you have CIA employees, elected government officials, school teachers, and professors celebrating this, they're encouraging this kind of behavior. And I just think it's funny that the liberals couldn't give a rat's ass about shootings when Republicans are involved. When Donald Trump got shot, they didn't care, right? When Charlie Kirk got shot, they didn't care. So they use these things for their agenda as long as it's convenient to them. But anyway, I was just curious where people stood on other people getting fired over it. But anyway, let's get back to what we normally do and talk about guns. And as long as it's firearms related, everybody can ask whatever questions they want or make any comments they want. And hello, Body Illusion. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, John. Again, we have an XQ. Welcome as well. We have a lot of new people on the stream today, which is very good and encouraging. We do this stream every Saturday at 12 Eastern until 1 o'clock. This is for you guys. I love the fact that I have a connection with my viewers and subscribers, and we discuss guns. Like I always say, everybody doesn't know everything, but everybody knows something. And, you know, if it's a firearm you had a good or bad experience about, and you want to make a comment about it, that's great as well. I agree, Chris. Not only never leave home without your firearm, I carry 7 days a week, even home. And everybody should carry from home. And welcome, Desert Channel Explorers. Contrary to popular belief, most home invasions happen between 10 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon, not in the middle of the night. So you should carry all the time. So if anybody, we always have a couple of jackasses here that I will get rid of. All right, so if anybody wants to start off with any questions regarding firearms. I agree with you, Piano Master. 22 is very underestimated. It is all about shot placement, right? I mean, if you can't shoot, it doesn't really matter what you're shooting. But you also want to make sure that you have something that's got a little bit of power. But like I said, if you can't shoot, it really doesn't matter. And I do have to get rid of some of the jackasses, but that's okay. Yep, the assassin bullet. Yeah, I agree with you. 22 long rifle is very underestimated. But personally, for defensive carry, I wouldn't carry anything less than a 9mm, but that's just me. I was proud of myself today. My wife and I were in a gun store, and I didn't even buy a gun. But a week or two ago, I did pick up a Glock 29, which is one of my favorite 10mm. So I'm happy about that. I'd like to get some opinions from some of you guys on pistols. It gets harder and harder when I walk into a gun store to find something that I really want. And that's the problem when I guess you own a lot of firearms. And hello to you too, Arnold. Welcome to the live stream. Those of you who joined for the first time, we do this every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern until 1 o'clock. If you haven't done so, please subscribe to our channel, watch our videos, like our videos, share them, share the channel with your friends. John, welcome. I'm a fan of the Desert Eagle, and yeah, I do think it's worth the money. It's a lot of fun to shoot at the range. I just personally feel that for defensive shooting, it's a little bit overkill. But it's a great gun. It's definitely worth the money. And K Grand, welcome. I got to tell you, I'm a huge fan of the 1911. I have a Glock 19 as well. I have a lot of Glocks. I got a lot of 1911s. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. You got to watch the video I posted a week or so ago. I just got a new 1911. It's the Springfield Emissary. And I got to tell you, that is by far my favorite 1911. That is really an exceptional firearm. You'll love that thing. It basically, Springfield took the standard 1911. They gave it a tactical look, added some new features, and it is just a phenomenal gun. I like it a lot. And Axel Nasty, yeah, that's correct. They don't make a 46. 45 is a great caliber, hence Pro Gun 45. And like I said, this stream is for you guys. Every week, we have people that have questions about firearms, and uh, this is a great place to do it. And yes, Mark, God bless America. LT, I'm assuming you're just being a horse's ass, so I'm going to delete you right now. I have not gotten an FN yet. I just think they're um, very overpriced personally, but that's just me. Um, I am going to be doing a video probably this weekend on my favorite micro compact pistol. I have narrowed it down to 3, and you may want to keep an eye out on that review. Overwrite it and overprice. Well, I'm glad to hear that, because I haven't bought one because I thought they were overpriced. So, Pew Pew Yoko, thanks for the input on that. And Mark, no, there is no problem loading a magazine with um, uh, mixed rounds, long as they're all the same caliber. However, I don't recommend it for defensive carry because, when you're shooting your firearm, you're shooting whatever grain you normally carry. And, if you have 115 and 147 grain in the same magazine, you're going to get sporadic results. At the range, it's fine, but I wouldn't do it for a carry gun. And K Grand, it is absolutely not firewood. Any of the Springfields are great guns. Western, Gen 3 or Gen 5 Glocks? Now, this is just me. I'm old school. I prefer the Glock Gen 3. And the reason for that is I like the finger grooves. The Gen 3 has been around for a long time. It's got a proven track record. I'm just not a fan of the Gen 5. I don't like what Glock did is, and if you want to add an optic, you need to go with the Glock Gen 5 MOS, and then they charge you another $150. I mean, that's just a sore subject for me. If you're going to sell a defensive pistol, it should be optic ready. USMC 5806. Yep. 45 1911 is a great gun. And Stromboni, that's just the personal choice, to be honest with you. Some people like the Gen 5, some don't. I just personally like the finger grooves on the Gen 3. I don't like that they took them away, but that's just me. Again, I'm sorry if I missed your comments. They are scrolling by very quickly. Rock Bottom, to answer your question, Desert Eagle or 500 Magnum, I don't think either of them are good home defense guns. You're going to have a tremendous amount of recoil. You're going to have a tremendous amount of muzzle flash, and you're going to go deaf. So you're probably, if you have to use that in your home, you're probably going to go deaf and blind temporarily. I'm just not seeing it. Yeah, the only thing nice is that the Glock Gen 4 does have back straps. The Gen 3s don't. But again, I just prefer the 3s. Some people like the 5s. And Beretta is a great gun as well. The Beretta 92 has been out forever. And Johnny Haro, I agree with you. I have the Mossberg 500 Persuader, which is pretty much identical to the Maverick 88. And that is definitely a great home defense gun. And yes, K Grand, I actually have shot a single action Army gun. Um, they're great guns. I have a Uberti, um, which is a clone of the Peacemaker. Western, thoughts on the Canik? Canik is absolutely an awesome gun. For the money, you can't beat it. It's made in Turkey. They make great guns there. I have the Canik TPSE Elite. If you put the Canik side by side by the Walther, they are almost identical. You can't go wrong with a Canik, basically. I think they actually share technology with Walther because they're so similar. I would have thought that Walther would have sued them if they weren't sharing them. And K. Gren, Ruger, good value or garbage? Ruger are great value. I own a bunch of Rugers. The Ruger revolvers, like the GP100, are built like tanks. They're going to last forever. I have a Ruger SR 1911, which is also an awesome gun. The Ruger RXM is taking off like wildfire. And to be honest with you, if I didn't own a gun, I would just go right to the Ruger RXM. The Ruger American 45 ACP pistol is awesome. So I'm all for Rugers. I mean, they're great quality. And Matthew, yes, CZ makes a awesome quality gun as well. They have a 45. I'm hoping one day CZ is going to come out with a 10 millimeter. I just love the 10 millimeter cartridge, and being they have a 45, it shouldn't be that difficult for them to tool up for a 10 millimeter, being that the frame is almost identical in size. Comics, when the shit hits the fan, unfortunately, it's whatever you got is the best gun to defend yourself with. I mean, I'm fortunate that I have a large selection. And Don Mills, yep, love my ARs too. I have the Smith & Wesson MP15, and then I built about 4 AR-15 pistols, including 300 Blackout. I love those as well. However, with the AR pistols, with the 10-inch barrel, that is some serious muzzle flash and noise. So, if you're in a dark room in your house, that will be blinding and deafening, but they're definitely great guns. And I recommend everybody should build their own AR-15. It's a great way to learn about the gun. How do I feel about forced reset triggers? I don't have any, so I guess I basically really don't have an opinion on those. And Sunny D, welcome. Yeah, that Shadow 2 is awesome gun. It's a little pricey. I like the one that's like a bluish green color. But yeah, that Shadow is a beautiful gun. And Western, you won't know by my accent, but I am in the great state of Tennessee, but we moved here from the communist state of New Jersey. And Michael Way, would a 1911 be a good firearm to open carry? Absolutely. I open carry 1911 all the time. Matter of fact, you could even conceal carry a 1911. They're very thin. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. I've done a bunch of reviews on 1911s for concealed carry. So you may want to take a look at those. Matter of fact, I was just open carrying my new Springfield Emissary last weekend. It's an awesome gun. And the Hellcat Pro, you know what, Keith? I was a huge fan of the Hellcat Pro. It used to be my everyday carry for work because it basically disappears. Um, it's such a um, thin micro pistol, but I bought the Savage Stance XR, and I got to tell you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do so. Watch my review. That Savage Stance is even narrower than the Hellcat Pro. It's less than an inch thick, and that is now my new concealed carry gun at work because nobody even knows you have the stance. And again, I'm sorry if I miss your comments. It's not intentional. They scroll by really quickly, and it's very hard to catch these. Mitch's Garage, you don't need anything more than a good old-fashioned 38 special to keep you safe. Well, like we were saying earlier, I mean, theoretically, it's all about shot placement, right? If you can't shoot, you can't shoot. Yeah, 38 is great, but we also have guns that we like, and I prefer a 45 and a 10 millimeter. Somebody else may prefer, 9 millimeter. It basically comes down to whatever you shoot best. There is no best gun out there. It all comes down to what you shoot best. And let's see, we got some more comments here. I agree with you, Gunslinger. You know, you go to a gun store and 10 people pick up the same gun, and it's going to feel different to all 10 people, right? I mean, it all comes down to what's comfortable and what you shoot best. There is no one best gun or one best caliber. Some people also don't have the luxury of opening a gun safe and having shitload of guns to choose from. They may only have one or two. Sonny D, 10 millimeter is an awesome caliber. Probably my favorite is the Glock 20. That is commonly used by Alaskan tour guides. That'll take down anything on 2 legs or 4. I also got its little baby brother last week, the Glock 29. I have a Springfield Ronin 1911 in 10 millimeter. And I have the SIG P320 X10 Comp. I agree with you, Mitch. Revolvers are simpler and they are less prone to jam. And I don't agree that they're easier to conceal. I have a Smith & Wesson 686 and a Colt Python. They do not conceal very well, I'll be honest with you. You also have the, limited capacity of, 6, 7 rounds on a revolver. It's all a matter of what you're comfortable with. And Keith, I was looking at the Henry 357 lever action. I have a bunch of 357 pistols. I got a boatload of 357 ammo. So I thought I had the choice narrowed down between the Henry and the Marlin, but now I'm seriously looking at the Smith & Wesson 1874. Well, Sonny D, that's all relative, right? Like I said, um, there are no two firearms uh, that are going to feel the same. So, and your love, what would I recommend for females to carry in their purses? I would highly recommend the Smith & Wesson Equalizer. The Smith & Wesson Equalizer is perfect for females or people with a disability or a handicap because they have the easy technology. That's what my wife carries. You could easily rack that with 2 fingers. So that's a gun I would highly recommend for females. You are loved. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. I've done a couple reviews on that Springfield Equalizer. It's an awesome gun. And not only that, it's hammer fired. It's got an internal hammer, not striker fired. It's optic ready. Comes with a 10, 13, and 15 round magazine. It's great quality. And I like the fact that you literally can go like this and rack the slide. So, and your love, thank you for subscribing. I'd greatly appreciate that. This channel has grown exponentially this year. In January, we only had 1,000 subscribers, and we're getting close to 7,000 now, hoping to have 10,000 by the end of the year. Bear 04, welcome. You're a 9mm carry guy, but you do love your 1911s. Texas is a great state. I have a lot of 1911s, but honestly, they're not my favorite. I just have them because they're cheap to shoot. You know, I'm old school. I mean, nothing beats a 1911, in my opinion. And the way my brain is wired, when I hear 1911, I automatically think 45 ACP. I just think that a 1911 in 9mm is sacrilegious. And Johnny Trejo, welcome, brother. Thanks again. Good to catch you again. So we have a lot of new people this time, which is really encouraging. I like to see the familiar people as well, but it's just a good sign that the channel is growing. Everyone is welcome. I love that we get to have this kind of dialogue between my viewers and subscribers and share information. John, I don't understand what you're asking. Are there any limits to the amount of guns you're allowed? No. Unless you live in the communist state of New Jersey, it's almost impossible to buy a pistol. You got to apply for a pistol purchase permit and go through all of that bullshit, and they just don't want you to have them there. It's one of the reasons we moved from the communist state of New Jersey to the great state of Tennessee. We don't need permits to purchase. We don't need permits to carry. Anyone that is of legal age in the state of Tennessee can open or conceal carry without a permit. God bless America. And Gunslinger, you're stationed where about in Tennessee? We're about 30 minutes from Knoxville here. And thank you for your service. Fort Campbell. I don't know. I don't know where that is, but again, thanks for your service. And hello to Tactical Llama. Thank you for your support. I have a bunch of new products I just received to review. One of them I'm real excited about. They're from Tag Precision. They are fiber optic sights, and they are a game changer. I'll definitely be doing a review on that soon. Yep, Arizona is another great state to carry in. Basically, I mean, almost all the red states are great states to carry in. And I don't understand what question you're asking, Don. Bear 04, what are my thoughts on the TSAS 1911? TSAS makes a great quality gun. I have one. For the money, they're well made. Probably at least as good as a Rock Island. And you are loved. I mean, this is just me. And maybe part of this is because being an NRA instructor, I cringe when I see people carry off body. I'm not a fan of women carrying a firearm in their purse. If somebody steals your purse, now they get a free gun. You have to babysit your purse. And, the guns move around in your purse. So the firearm is never really pointed in a safe direction. I just personally am not a fan. And then women come home and they have their firearm in their purse, and the kids go in the purse to get candy or whatever, and the firearm is in there. I'm just not a fan. Mark Chambers, Gerson is a great quality gun. EAA has been making good quality guns for a long time. The Gerson, I believe it's the tanker, is a great 1911. I get it. You are loved. I get it that you don't have kids there. I'm just not a fan of carrying off body. Like I said, if somebody steals your purse, now they get your firearm. You could be walking down the street and, you get accosted and your firearm is in your bag, and now they have your bag. I'm just not liking it. And also, when you go out, you have to babysit it. You got to worry about putting your purse down anywhere. You may want to consider maybe carrying in a belly band holster. Well, whatever works for you, you are loved. I did a video about carrying a firearm in a purse. You may want to take a look at that. It may change your mind. But again, the free country, you carry however you want, whatever's comfortable for you. I'm just not a fan of off-body carrying, but yeah, Task Force Thunder, God, Oregon, I feel for you, brother. Like everything is illegal in Oregon. It's all the damn Democrat states. The funny thing about it is there's more liberals buying guns now because they're afraid of the damn liberals. Glock Girl 47. Double action is awesome. I'm personally not a fan of a safety, except for my 1911s, which obviously are meant to be carried cocked and locked. Um, I don't like safeties because under duress, it's just one more thing to have to remember. Um, if I need to draw my firearm, I want to be able to just shoot. I don't want to have my brain to have to remember, oops, I forgot the safety. Yeah, I appreciate that. You're loved. I have a few videos. Matter of fact, there's a few videos my wife did. Um, so we do have videos that are geared toward the females. Again, I highly recommend you watch my video. You can search for it, and that is the Springfield Equalizer. That is the ultimate concealed carry gun for a female. You know, Sonny D, I got to tell you, uh, they're beating that Sig P320 thing to death. I own three of them. Mine have never gone off. Um, Unless you're Alec Baldwin, guns don't just go off. I'm sorry, I'm just not buying into that. And I appendix carry, and my Sig P320s still have never gone off. So, and the time check, it is 12:38. We will be ending this stream at 1 o'clock. So, um, if you've been on, you've been thinking of asking a question, please do so. Um, one thing I don't like is people wait until last minute and then they never get their turn. Uh, this is the place to do it. We all share information here. Um, nobody's going to flame you or uh, make fun of you. This is where we learn, right? We don't all know everything. Um, I'm old. I've been doing this for a long time. I didn't acquire my knowledge, in a couple of years. It took me over 40 years to learn what I learned. So, um, if somebody has a question or they're not sure about something, um, if I can help them, I'm always willing to do so. Yeah, your daughter knows everything. Yeah, yeah, well, yeah. Everybody thinks they know everything. People that know everything are the ones that scare me the most because people that know everything know nothing. I don't know about the no restrictions in Oregon. I mean, from what I read, Oregon is pretty restrictive. But John, that is a great question, and I'm betting a lot of people probably were thinking that and didn't want to ask. So, John Trejo, thank you for asking that question. And the question is, does keeping your mags loaded for a long period of time take a toll on the spring? And the answer is absolutely not. The reason for that is what kills the magazine is the compression and decompression. That's what kills the spring. When the spring is under a constant load, that does not wear out the spring. It's constantly loading and unloading the magazines. I have magazines that have been loaded for 10 years straight, um, and they're like brand new. Now, what I do, just as a habit, and I'm just throwing it out there for people, is when we change the clocks, I may switch uh, out my magazines, but that's like twice a year. But even if you didn't do it, you're not going to hurt the magazines one bit. Uh, Older game review, yes. I'm all for building an AR-15. I built probably a half dozen of them. It's a great way to learn about your firearm. Um, ATI makes a great firearm. I bought my Anderson Precision lowers, and I bought my uppers from Bear Creek Arsenal, and I have them in pretty much 5.56 and 300 blackouts. I agree with you, Michael Way. I'm a huge 1911 fan. One thing I do have to say, though, about the 1911, depending on the firearm, is that they can be very picky with ammo. Um, I always wanted a Kimber, and I bought a Kimber Custom 2 1911. I had it for about 2 weeks and I hated it. Uh, Constantly jammed. But it's not so much the guns I found with the 1911s, it's the magazines. I, um, I don't like Mekgar. The only magazines that I will carry, and I'm not talking about the range, I'm talking about carrying for defensively, are Wilson Combat and Chip McCormick. And Wilson Combat just bought Chip McCormick, so uh, but those are awesome magazines. Another thing I've learned over the years with 1911s is um, some of the 1911s come with 8 round mags, so they jam an extra round into the same magazine. Not a fan of that. I like the flush fitting 7 round mags. Um, if you don't think 7 rounds is enough, um, carry a spare mag. I'm just not a fan of 8 round 1911 magazines. Which Glock is best for appendix, concealed carry, comfort, and concealment? Um, I'll get right with you. Don, glad to have you. Hope to catch you again next time. Um, Sorry about that, Oakback. So every Glock feels different to everybody, right? Everybody's got different hand size. Personally, though, I appendix carry. My 19 is perfect for appendix carrying. It's also comfortable and it conceals very well. Um, I live in the great state of Tennessee, so I don't really worry about concealed carrying. Um, I open carry most of the time, but concealed carry is not really um, that big of a deal for me. So that's why I get to carry large firearms. I agree with you, Sonny. Um, the Kimber was just ammo picky, but um, I found a lot in 1911s. Once you start getting away from that ball ammo, uh, some of them just don't like hollow points. Uh, I was carrying hollow points in my Kimber, um, Black Talon to be precise, and it did not like them at all. And again, as far as comfort goes with a firearm, that's all subjective, right? Everybody's got different hand sizes, everybody's built differently. So physically, what works for one works for others. Same thing with carry positions. Some people, appendix isn't comfortable. I'm a fat guy and I appendix carry and I find it very comfortable. Um, with the right gun belt and the right holster, you can conceal almost anything and make almost anything comfortable. Um, a lot of people that are blaming the guns and the holsters for it being uncomfortable, 99% of the time, um, it, it's the gun belt. I mean, if you carry a gun, you need a real gun belt, not some shit off the shelf at Walmart. Get yourself a Core Essentials gun belt, um, and you'd be surprised how much difference it makes. Uh, Great question, John. I did it. Actually, I just, not recently, I have a video out there if you haven't subscribed to my channel um, on converting the Glock 20 Gen 3. You can convert the Glock 20 to a 357 SIG or a 9 millimeter. You cannot convert it to a 10 millimeter. Obviously, the frame and the slide is different. Glock 29 is a 10 millimeter. So, but to answer your question, the only calibers you can convert just by replacing the barrel is a 9 millimeter and a 357 SIG. Matter of fact, if you switch over to 357 SIG, it even uses the Glock 20 magazines. And if you put a 9 millimeter barrel in there, you will need to buy a Glock magazine, but you don't even need to change the recoil springs. I think I got my barrels from Lone Wolf for about $100 a piece, and it's like getting 3 Glocks in one. Glock 10 millimeter. I just bought the Glock 29 a week or two ago. It's awesome. It's a fantastic gun for concealed carry. I also have my full-size Glock 20. And you're welcome, John Hedden. Again, thanks for joining. And this is why we do this every week. I just love discussing firearms with you guys and answering questions and helping each other out. I don't know everything, but sometimes people ask a question and somebody else out there may have experience with it. And, this is how we learn. And again, we do this live stream every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern until 1 o'clock. And you are loved. Thank you so much. Glad to have you here. Thank you for subscribing. We do this every Saturday, so hope to catch you again. And feel free to reach out to me if you ever have any questions, and watch the videos that my wife did. We have a lot of products and firearms we reviewed for the females because we don't have as many of them out there. And glad you asked your question. So have a blessed day. And to do a time check, it is 12:50, so we will be ending this in 10 minutes. So if you have any questions or want to make firearms related comments, please do so before time runs out. I have a great product I haven't had a chance to review yet. It's called the Brass Goat. And good evening, Ultra Fire. Welcome. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so. So I was just sent the Brass Goat to review, and this attaches to the magwell of your AR-15, and it catches all your brass, which is really cool because when you shoot in your AR-15, you could spend more time shooting and less time looking in the grass for your spent shell casing. So I'm very curious to see how that works out. I also want to check out the sights I just received from Tag Precision. They are awesome fire optic sights. And they're made in the USA. I love reviewing products made in the USA, but unfortunately, more and more products are made in China. And John Hedden, can I recommend a builder's guide? Let me tell you this, John. I used to, one second, Sonny D, thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Thanks again for joining. Catch you again. Michael, this is one thing very important for anybody that lives in the communist state of New Jersey. You need, don't worry about a builder's guide. You need to make sure when you purchase your firearm, you purchase the New Jersey compliant version. When I bought my Smith and Wesson M&P 1522, I'm sorry, my M&P 15 Sport, that is an AR-15, but I had to buy the New Jersey compliant version. And what that means is if you live in New Jersey and you buy an AR-15, you're only allowed one of three evil things. So if it's got a pistol grip, it cannot have a collapsible stock or a flash hider. And it was a good thing when I bought that AR-15 that I bought the New Jersey compliant version, because uh, when I picked it up uh, at the FFL, the guy told me that if I didn't have a New Jersey compliant version, he wouldn't be able to give it to me. New Jersey compliant version of the AR-15 also only comes with 10-round mags. John Trejo, how often should you change your recoil spring on your 1911? Unless you're having trouble, never. I have 1911s for 10 years with the same springs, and mine are just flawless. And God first, yep, amen, shall not be infringed. My favorite caliber for the AR-15, I'm going to say the 300 Blackout. For cheaper ammo, 5.56 is nice, and it's more standard, but the 300 Blackout is awesome, especially if you get the subsonic. It's very quiet. But I built 6 ARs, so I have both. But the 300 Blackout is really cool. And you could still use your 223 magazines. But what you can do is if you already own an AR-15, you could just buy a Bear Creek Arsenal 300 Blackout upper receiver for $178, and you have the best of both worlds. You just swap the barrel out and use the same mag. So thank you for that, John. I appreciate that. Actually, I don't think I've ever heard of a pump action AR-15. I mean, if it's built on AR-15 platform, it's got to have your charging handle. So I would not think, unless it's some proprietary thing, but it wouldn't be on an AR-15 platform. It would probably just be sharing the caliber. Yeah, that's the stupid shit they do in New Jersey. Like, okay, so you got a pistol grip and you can't have a collapsible stock, right? So what do they think? Having a collapsible stock uh, makes it easier to stick in my pants? It's just stupid. Thank you, John. I appreciate that so much. Um, and I'm glad you get value from this. I'm pleased to do it. I've been uh, around firearms for 40 years, and I just love sharing information, and uh, I'm glad somebody appreciates it. So thank you there. An ultra fire, like I said, I apologize for um, missing questions. They do scroll by so quickly that I just don't get to see them all. Um, and I've stated that numerous times. So I apologize for that. And because of that, so no, I will not ask you to subscribe. And I do mention every week that the comments scroll by, and I unfortunately do miss them. So people are familiar with that. Anyway. I'm trying to, I don't know. I'm trying to scroll through there, Ultra Fire. I'm not, I'm sorry. There's so many comments here. I just can't find it, but sorry for that. And we have 3 minutes left. And I'm sorry, I'm still not finding the comments. It does fill up quickly. And thank you, John. I appreciate that, buddy. You know, there are some wise asses out there, and I do get some flamers, and you know, I do get some people that complain, but you know, for the most part, I do have a loyal following. A lot of the same people still watch every Saturday at 12 noon, and that's why I keep doing it. We do get some new people, but again, I appreciate you and thank you so much. It is encouraging to hear something positive every now and then because hey, you do get a lot of wise asses out here, but always makes me wonder why somebody would join a live stream on a gun channel and be a horse's ass about it. But and Andrea, hello. And God bless you and your family as well, Michael. And we will continue to do this every Saturday. We'll be doing it again. We'll catch you guys next week. There's 1 minute left, so we will be ending this right now at 1 o'clock. Love you all. Again, if you haven't done so, please subscribe to the channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. If you're new to the stream, thank you for finding us. And we'll be here again every Saturday at 12 noon Eastern until 1 o'clock. Thanks again. Thank you, Ted. Be safe all. Love you guys. Till next time.